Hi everybody, I'm Evan Mitchell, and I'm here at the absolutely astounding Isabel Bader Center for the Performing Arts in Kingston, where we're about to have a really magnificent concert coming up this weekend. This is one of our Masterworks concerts, and it's such a delight to be back in this building, to be performing in such a wonderful acoustic, and as good as this place sounds, I think it looks even better. One of the things I have to be careful about when I'm conducting here is that I can't get mesmerized by all the beautiful wood paneling and then get distracted at the task at hand. But it's such an amazing place to hold a concert, and boy, do we ever have a fabulous one for you this weekend. We have all sorts of incredible music on today's concert from a variety of different time periods. But they all have one thing in common, the pieces of music on this program, and they all share the theme of inspiration. They all relate to the idea of the composer being inspired in one way or another. And so it's a really interesting way to shape a program and to have these magnificent works showcased, as we're going to do this Sunday afternoon. So we're going to start off with the Overture to the Creatures of Prometheus, which is the overture to the only ballet that Beethoven wrote. It's a wonderful piece. It's short, it's full of fireworks and froth for the strings. Delightful way to start the concert, but beyond that, it actually is on a particular theme that Beethoven held very close and dear to his heart, and that is the idea of the Prometheus myth. And Beethoven loved the idea of Prometheus coming down and civilizing humankind, giving humankind fire and the arts. And it was a subject that Beethoven was really quite fond of, and he sort of returned to that well, that inspiration of the Prometheus myth several times throughout his compositional career. Next up, we're going to be performing a piece by Canadian composer Tim Brady. This is a brand new piece. It is called The How and the Why of Memory. And Tim Brady, who is such an amazing composer, he always writes really fascinating music that just grabs you from the downbeat. Tim was inspired by the nature of memory, the process of memory, and so in sort of the various musical episodes that he outlines in this piece, we explore a musical evocation of memory, and this is such an interesting piece, and you're going to hear incredible rhythmic passages, you're going to hear passages of color that just sort of seem to smear on top of each other. Tim always writes such fascinating music, and I'm thrilled to be performing this piece on this concert. And we're so happy to be featuring our own concertmaster Gisele Dalbec as our featured guest artist for this program. She's going to be performing the solo violin part for Dvorak's Romance. And this is a wonderful piece. It was actually something that he was going to throw out. When Dvorak was very young, he wrote a string quartet that he just wasn't very fond of, and he didn't think that it was fit for publication. So he was going to throw it away when his publisher convinced him that maybe he could take the slow movement from this work and rework it into a piece for violin and orchestra. And thank you very much, Mr. Publisher, because you are directly responsible for one of the most beautiful melodic works that exists for the violin. I adore this piece, and Gisele is so sensitive, and she plays so beautifully. This is going to be an occasion not to miss. And we're finishing things off with Brahms' Second Symphony, which is quite simply one of the most glorious works in the orchestral repertoire. And it should be noted, actually, that it took Brahms 40 years to write his first symphony, and then 12 months later he had written his second. So it seems as though he had managed to streamline the process a little bit from the first symphony to the second. Brahms' Second Symphony it's really unlike anything else in the repertoire. It's such a beautiful piece. There's everything emotionally in the entire spectrum of feeling you can imagine. It starts off with a placid sort of pastoral feeling, and then you have bouts of anger, you have bouts of excitement, you have bouts of unbelievable heartbreaking intimacy, and then it ends with one of the most vivacious and glorious finales that you can find anywhere in any music. So it doesn't get any better than this, folks. You have some of the world's greatest music presented to you live by your Kingston Symphony Orchestra in an acoustic marvel, a beautiful concert hall. You'll be able to experience it all, the intimacy, the power of this live music. You don't want to miss this concert, so we'll see you on Sunday afternoon.